Hello, everybody, and welcome to Connors First Up. So the New Orleans Saints just beat the Atlanta Falcons 31 to 17 on Thanksgiving Day. And honestly, I was really expecting a closer game, mostly due to the fact that it's Saints Falcons, and most of the time it is a one possession game. But whatever. I'm glad that it wasn't a close game. And honestly, it was probably one of the better games that I saw the Saints play. Honestly, in the first half, we probably played a perfect game. The only points came off of honestly a BS call really. So Drew Brees threw his second interception of the season. But honestly, during the play, there should have been pass interference. That didn't happen. Likely the touchdown or the pick six got called back. But either way, it should have been a PI. And who knows, maybe the Saints would have scored on that drive. But luckily for us, the Saints only allowed 3 points off of the interception. So Drew Brees only threw two interceptions in the season so far, which is fantastic because for a while now he was a lot of people kind of looked at him as a gunslinger almost, mostly due to the fact that the Saints defense always played horrible, and Drew Brees had to throw deep a lot because honestly we were down a lot, like back in like 2012, not 13, 14, 15, and whatnot, even 16. But luckily for us, this isn't the case anymore. Drew Brees is better with, or more efficient while passing. He's always been accurate, but he's not turning the ball over. Today, unfortunately, he might have dropped his MVP casing, or standing at least. He only threw for 171 passing yards, but he did have four touchdowns, so maybe he didn't drop that much. And again, one interception, and he was 15 for 22. Didn't pass very much. Again, the Saints didn't really need him. Needed him to pass very much. And I guess for MVP talk, maybe that's why he won't win it if he doesn't, because the Saints can win through Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, but who knows. But speaking of four touchdowns, uh, yeah, he only threw the four touchdowns to undrafted wideouts. And honestly, that's really surprising to me. Or maybe not to me personally, but to a lot of people. Because, I don't know, like, I guess if, like, the Saints don't have as much talent on offense and that people really think. It's just Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and Mark Ingram on skill wise. And maybe Traquan Smith. Like, if you're looking at the wide receiver depth, it's really nothing. But the four people who got touchdowns was Dan Arnold, who's a undrafted tight end who used to be a wideout. Tommy Lee Lewis, who was inactive since week two. He got a touchdown. Austin Carr, two touchdowns in a row, 2 weeks in a row with a touchdown, that is. And the Keith Kirkwood, who had a decent outing last week, but he only had one catch today for 5 yards. Speaking of people who, well, actually, hold up. So the Saints actually have a very good history of using undrafted rookies. I mean, Pierre Thomas is undrafted, and he's one of the best Saints running backs ever, in my opinion, and definitely at least a Saints favorite. Uh, and then looking at the rushing game, Alvin Kamara had a pretty good game. He had shoot, where is it? He had 14 carries for 89 yards. Mark Ingram had 11 carries for 52 yards, so that's 130 rushing yards altogether off of those two. Mark Ingram had two receptions for 14 yards, and then Alvin Kamara only had one reception for 9 yards. Michael Thomas had a pretty quiet game, in which he only had four receptions for 38 yards, and which is probably why Drew Brees didn't have many passing yards. Well, he had 171. But also, Traquan Smith, I expected him to play. That didn't happen. He has a messed up foot, I guess. He had, 150 something receiving yards last week, 10 receptions. He had a breakout game last week. I was really hoping him to have another really good game this week. Because, in all honesty, the Falcons defense and all that, yeah, I know that they're injured, but still, they aren't that good. And speaking of defense, this is probably the best defensive game that the Saints had yet in terms of takeaways. They had 4 takeaways, really 5 forced fumbles, but only two, actually only 3 of them were recovered. So Demario Davis had a forced fumble, but that wasn't recovered. PJ Williams had a sack fumble, I believe. Uh, Eli Apple recovered a one of the fumbles. So did Von Bell. Marshawn Lattimore got burnt, but he ended up forcing a forced fumble off of shoot, what's his name again? The rookie for the Falcons. Why am I forgetting his name? Really good player. And then Marcus Williams also had a forced fumble, one of the better free safeties in my opinion. And then Alizoni had a forced fumble, and Alizoni is a very clutch player. Uh, in my opinion, one of the better outside linebackers, or at least again one of the better clutch outside linebackers, has made a play or a big play 4 weeks in a row, becoming one of my favorite players. And speaking of one of my favorite players, Cameron Jordan finally had a sack. Actually, he had 2 sacks. So total wise, he has 8 sacks in the season. He may make the Pro Bowl, who knows? But I don't know. But speaking of other defensive linemen that should make the Pro Bowl, it's Sheldon Rankins. He had his 7th sack of the season against Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan didn't have a very good game. Like the announcers were saying, he was kind of shook the whole game, making a bunch of, I won't say bad passes or bad decisions, but he didn't look like Matt Ryan. And that's part of the reason why I don't put Matt Ryan in the top tier quarterback position, because one season he can be fantastic, and the next season it's just on again, off again. Like, he's just too inconsistent. Will Watts got a field goal again. I think he made 20 in a row. That's just fantastic. Even though I do believe that Ryan didn't have a very good game, but statistically he did. He was 35 for 47, 377 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He did fumble multiple times, and the interception that he did throw didn't look good. But the reason why I believe that he didn't have a very good game is because he, again, didn't look like an elite quarterback, which he has the potential to do so. I mean, he won the MVP. He's a great quarterback, but he's just way too inconsistent. And he has games like this. Yeah, he's statistically good, but when he needs to be good in key situations, he's not. I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback by any means, but I don't know. I guess he didn't really get help in terms of rushing. Yeah, the Saints have a very good rush defense, but to be fair, I feel like that's kind of or the numbers are kind of skewed because the pass defense isn't very good, number one, and plus the Saints always put up points on offense, so the opposing team doesn't really have a chance if they're behind in points to run the ball very often. But saying that, Tevin Coleman had 8 carries for only 6 yards. That's 0.8 yards per carry. That's just awful. And then, I mean, Matt Ryan was the leading rusher. Julio Jones had a great game. 11 receptions, 147 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns. So I guess that ends his streak of having a touchdown, which I believe was 3 weeks in a row. But before that, he had 0. Calvin Ridley, that was the rookie that I was talking about when Marshawn Lattimore got burnt, but Calvin Ridley ended up fumbling it. He had 8 receptions for 93 receiving yards and a touchdown. I believe that this was his 8th touchdown in his rookie season, which is pretty good. Most, even Pro Bowl wideouts don't get 8 touchdowns sometimes. I mean, Julio won't. I mean, AB. I want to say AB won't, but I may be wrong with that. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure AB has about 10. I don't know. But my point is that Calvin Ridley's having a very good season so far, especially for a rookie. He probably won't make a Pro Bowl, but it's whatever. But great game by the Saints altogether, especially that it was on Thanksgiving, on a primetime game. Next week we play against the Cowboys, at the Cowboys, who are looking to be the playoff team coming out of the NFC East. Not on their own merit, or based off of their own merit, meaning that they're really good. It's just that their division isn't very good. Even though, saying that, the Cowboys really do have a good defense, so there's that. Saints have to look out for that. Then I believe that the Saints go back and then to Tampa Bay to try to even out the series with Tampa Bay. And then I believe they host the Panthers. Yeah, either way, they play the Panthers, then they host the Steelers, and they play the Panthers again. So the last 3 games are going to be very important. Hopefully they can maybe. I have a hard time believing that they won't lose all of them. I mean, won't lose any of them. So I can hopefully at least win 3 of the 5 remaining games. Which, saying that, we did win 10 games in a row, so that isn't really saying, like, that isn't a tall order, but we are playing against 4 playoff potential teams, and then Tampa Bay is a divisional rival. So we're playing a total of 3 divisional rival games in 4 games. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to share this video. Thank you.